Good morning, everyone. It's February 21st, 2020, and welcome to Virgo Live. I'm Virgo, as everybody knows. I am a few minutes early. I want to make sure that you guys can hear me okay and that the microphone is working okay. There's a delay on this chat. If you guys can let me know whether I sound okay to everyone, that would be great. I'm going to give it just a couple more minutes and let a few more people get in here, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. So I'm going to go on mute just for a couple of seconds while we're waiting for a few more people to hop on here. Thank you, JHO, for letting me know. Okay, just a couple minutes, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, great. I'm so glad everybody can hear me okay. How is everyone this morning? Good morning, Janet, Mark, Lord Crimson Eye, Shannon. Hi, Pete. Wonder Woman, there she is. Yes, happy Friday to everyone. Hi, Denise. Yay, I need coffee big time this morning, you guys. Hi, Raven. To those of you that were here much earlier, I apologize. When I get ready to set up the actual studio with all of the articles and stuff I go over with you, it takes a while to do that, and you have to be live within the studio. So I apologize. I know that you guys can see me, that I'm getting ready to go live, and a lot of you will sit and wait. And I really appreciate the patience. Hello, Emal, Little Rascal. Hi. Hi, Miss Funny Feet, Mark. Well, we've got a few people in here now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, happy Friday to everyone. Like I said, we have a lot to talk about today. Wow. Okay, some of you, I want to start out by saying that the video that I put up, kind of, I guess it was probably around midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, was a video that I had put together, and I really didn't actually mean for it to go live. It was one that I was still editing and working on. It's a video that is a whole bunch of different screenshots having to do with QAnon followers and what they're finding out as the years have gone by, with a lot, well, we'll say 95% of the things that they've come up with not turning out to actually be true. Jefferson says just a few. Yeah, no, there's a lot. There's a lot. But I was really trying to drive the point home that there's a couple of things that are really concerning that we do need to pay attention to. Now, you guys know that I don't cover the QAnon phenomenon much, but I have talked about it in the past. I've talked about the fact that it's definitely something that needs to be watched because there's such a large following of it, and because the information that's coming out of there is so negative. Not only is it negative, but there's no factual basis for it whatsoever. The saddest part about it is that I've had I'd say since 2017, I've had some older individuals, like in their 80s, early 90s, actually email me, or have their kids email me even saying, hey, mom, dad, terrified They are terrified. Why is it that they are so scared of this Q thing? And it's because they get caught up watching these YouTube videos where they are being told all kinds of terrible things like martial law and people going to the guillotine and being hung in Central Park and all these terrible things that there's just simply no basis of fact for. So I wanted to kind of show everyone that it seems to be a trend. There's one thing that's going on that's disturbing that has to do with just simply people losing their friends, their family, their personal connections with people because people feel they've gone literally cuckoo. I mean, they just it seems like this is again one of those type of movements that thrives on fear and anger and will get people trapped in it to the point where that's all they're kind of living for. They're waiting for like the next Q drop or whatever they're calling it. So there's that. People losing their family and friends and just, generally their jobs in some cases, their marriages. Then there's the other side, which is people that are running now for office in 2020 with a complete and total false narrative, believing things that are just blatant lies or strongly exaggerated, but the majority of the time just completely untrue. And again, with no factual basis whatsoever. When you start getting individuals from the fringe that are running for office and you have a large enough following behind those individuals, you are subject to end up with a mess for your government. And these are local and both local and seats that could end up in the House or in the Senate. I mean, it's a scary scenario when you start looking at the possibility of having people that are unhinged enough that they're actually paying attention to these crazy claims, and then you think about them actually legislating for us. So that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, because we have a rather upsetting scenario going on in California. And I'm going to be talking to you about that here in just a moment. I'm going to take you over to an article that I'm going to go ahead and read to you. And you can go back to it if you choose to. It'll be in the description for you to take a look at, because there's a narrator that you can actually listen to it again instead of reading it yourself. I'm not going to use that narrator because I do not want to end up having a copyright claim on this video. I'm going to go ahead and read it, but it is extremely disturbing, especially when you consider that this party just a couple of years ago filed a lawsuit using a fraudulent UCC filing claiming that his bodily fluids were worth $15 million. So we are talking about going full SovCit, and then running for a congressional seat. He's running against Maxine Waters in California. And it doesn't matter what political side of the spectrum you're on. This is something that people need to be aware of. And it's happening in many locations. This one's just very pronounced because it is someone who largely spent a lot of time on YouTube and other social media platforms to try to push forward the SovCit ideology, just as between 2017 and 2018. Some of you may even recognize them. Before I get over to that, I do want to also mention, hey, DGen, hey, Gary. I do want to also mention that we have the scenario with Rise of the Moors and that FBI investigation that I put up a video about yesterday. And matter of fact, I'm going to go over to that just real quick. So let me share my screen here with you. Let's see if I can do it without screwing it up, you guys. Okay. All right, so do you remember that yesterday's video, or for those of you that saw it anyway, on Rise of the Moors, they were talking about the fact that they have confiscated this building, 255 Main Street in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and now the European, quote unquote, European, they claim, has hired an attorney and is trying to fight them and all this other stuff, right? But this is their adverse possession, supposedly. They're calling on all Moors to come out and do repairs and all these other things so that they could supposedly claim adverse possession. Although, to be perfectly frank with you, that's going to be damn near impossible to prove, because there are all kinds of regulations, all kinds of details that have to be in place in order to actually prove that, including being in that property for a number of years before a judge would grant them that permission. And if you hear little man snoring, I apologize, but there's just not a darn thing I can do to stop it. It's just the way he is. Okay, so first of all, I wanted to mention to you that I did take a look at that address, and I went into the tax assessor's information because I wanted to make sure that we knew what the real deal is with this. So here we are at Pawtucket, Rhode Island's tax assessor's office. And for those of you that don't know, if you have the address of a property and you want to know who actually owns it, you can always look through the tax assessor's search engine. Most states, most counties of most states have them available online free of charge. And there you can locate the property, the taxes, the appraisal amounts, and who generally owns it. So I was a little taken back when I saw the owner's name. However, that really doesn't mean anything because I found additional information on her. As it turns out, this party is the owner of the location that they're trying to lay claim to. And you can see that she purchased this property for $400,000. Now, to be fair, this is a property that has 5 different levels. It is zoned commercially. The sale date was December 1st of 2012, so it's only been a couple of years that she's actually owned it. And this is an actual photo of the property itself. Now, they're claiming that they're trying to claim adverse possession in one location in this particular building, and that is one suite number, which of course would not be the case. That just simply wouldn't be the case. It's going to either be the entire property or none of it. But anyhow, regardless, this is the information on that. And if anybody wants to take a look at this themselves, I can give you the address to do that. So I wanted to do some actual investigation on who Leslie R. Moore is, right? And this is when the scenario gets sad. So let me go back here. I want to make sure you guys can actually see this properly. Okay, so we're still on. All right, let me put you on the new. On this particular software, you have to actually share each individual screen. You can't just go along and do what you want once you're in Chrome, for example. So, excuse me, I'm having to get used to that. All right, so here's an article from the Valley Breeze in Rhode Island. Now, this is having to do with a group of individuals that are trying to purchase up some of the older buildings from Main Street, which of course is where that location is. And this article is talking about what they're trying to do for the community in order to fix up these old buildings and keep them in good working shape, and work with other individuals that are like-minded to put them as tenants, business tenants in those buildings to assist the community. It's a wonderful thing that these people are doing. But this particular article goes into talk about this Leslie Moore and a number of other participants also that are in Pawtucket and Central Falls with regards to this 250 Main Street property. They talk about what a special building it is and how much opportunity it has. And then they talk about that there is a company that this Leslie owns called Core Collaboratives. And I believe there's even a website, but yeah, there's a website up here. So that's corecollaboratives.com. This is Leslie. So y'all noticing something here? See, there is absolutely no thought that goes into what these people are doing. So not only is this person young, African American, and outwardly attempting to try to do something to assist her community, but they just automatically assumed that the owner of this property is European and probably some old white dude that they think hates them for some reason. And they're not even taking into consideration how much damage that they are doing to this young woman who is attempting to try to literally uplift her community. There's a number of different properties that this young woman owns. She is attempting to try to make them cost effective for other people who are actually attempting to try to do the same thing as she is doing. If you go over the website, she's quite a phenomenon when it comes to younger individuals doing this sort of thing. You see it later in life most of the time. This is a young woman who is a young African American woman who is attempting to try to do this. It's extremely, extremely sad. Yes, Ian, I know you're an old white dude. I know. All right. So what I wanted to say in this is just that what a shame that now she's having to hire attorneys, go to court, and fight the very group of people that claim that they're all together. They're all Moors. It doesn't matter, if you're dark skinned, you're a Moor. Remember all that? But they're hurting one of their own here and don't even know it probably and don't care. So, all right. That is the first thing that I wanted to go over. Now, there is another article that I want to go over with you, and this is a little bit more disturbing here, unfortunately. Let me get you over to the screen share here. I'm sorry, you guys. I know you can probably hear little man. He is just so loud. Matter of fact, I checked with the vet to make sure that is there everything okay, because he snores so much, but it's just his breed. Boxers have a tendency, especially male boxers apparently, to snore because of their shortness of their snout. And there's just no stopping him. I can put him all kinds of different directions, literally, unless I want to put him in another room, which he would never stand for. It tells you who runs the household, right? He is going to be snoring, so I apologize. All right, so everybody read the heading. California GOP endorsed a man who said his bodily fluids were worth $15 million. And most of the time I would look at this sort of thing and I would laugh, and probably most of you would too, except for that when you start reading this article, it gets very not funny very quickly. This is going on all over the nation, you guys. Where once we only had the scenario of the New Hampshire senator who is a well-known SovCit who's been trying to get, right to travel arguments into the House and argued for many, many years at this point. I believe his name is Merkel. It used to only be that. Now we have several running for serious office seats. All right, I'm going to go ahead and read this, you guys. I know that this may be a little bit boring to begin with, but please listen closely. It's important. We need to be aware of these people and that they are climbing the ladder. Okay, so I am going to make sure you guys actually have the link in the description, as I said. If you want to listen to the Daily Caller actually read this out to you later, you can do that here. But I'm going to go ahead and read this because I've got some notations too that I want to make on the side here. So the California Republican Party actually endorsed a former Green Party presidential candidate who once claimed that his bodily fluids were worth $15 million in a lawsuit that, according to a lawyer, appears to have evoked the fringe legal theories of the SovCit movement. Navy veteran Joe Collins has also raised nearly $761,000 $100,000 for his long shot bid to unseat 15-term Democratic California Republican, or excuse me, representative, not Republican, definitely not Republican. She's a Democrat, Representative Maxine Waters. Campaign records are showing. He first entered the political arena as an anti-Trump presidential candidate in November of 2016 and has since switched political parties 4 different times, most recently to a pro-Trump Republican. All right, later on in this article, you're going to hear that when he started, he only had $22 in his checking account. So the question that I am asking here is, where did almost $800,000 come from? Federal Election Commission records show that since Collins launched his congressional bid in July of 2019, his campaign has spent $112,000 on food and travel and has paid nearly $148,000 to a mysterious consulting firm that Collins once reported to the FEC shared the same office address as his campaign. In 2018, while running for president, Collins revealed that he had just $22 in his checking account in court documents related to a lawsuit he had filed the year prior against San Diego. Representing himself in the lawsuit, of course, Collins sought the termination of a child support order and damages of $100 million. Lawyers for San Diego said Collins's complaint was nearly impossible to decipher. During the reporting process for this story, Collins personally sent a cease and desist notice to the Daily Caller News Foundation with no apparent legal representation. That's normal, as you guys know. Cease and desist constantly comes at my channel because they don't want anyone knowing. They don't want anyone knowing that they've made these crazy claims and failed. The would-be federal legislator claimed the DCNF had no right to question him about his previous record as an anti-Trump presidential candidate, his personal finances, or the legal theories he espoused in his lawsuit against San Diego. So here we go again with the "you have no right to know anything about me." There's good reason for that with Joe Collins. In December of 2017, while campaigning as an anti-Trump presidential candidate, Collins sued the San Diego Department of Child Support Services for $100 million in damages and the termination of his court-ordered child support obligations. Prior to issuing his cease and desist notice, Collins told the DCNF that DNA tests confirmed that he was not the father of the child he has been ordered to financially support. He said he was still actively fighting the case now that he's campaigning for Congress. Representing himself without a lawyer, Collins argued in the lawsuit that he was a living, breathing man with a soul acting in a sovereign capacity and is the registered owner of his own self. On those grounds, Collins declined to participate in any proceedings related to his child support payments, saying that the process violates his inalienable rights as a living, breathing man. So how many times have you guys heard this, right? We know what we're dealing with here. Joe E. Collins, doing business as Joe Edward Collins III, does not consent to any contract codes, state codes, statutes, commercial presentments, or anything similar, Collins wrote in his lawsuit. Constitutional lawyer Cesar Kalinowski reviewed Collins' lawsuit and told the DCNF that his arguments definitely indicate to me that he is espousing and or invoking the same type of pseudo-legal principles that you would find in the SovCit movement. While there is no leader or central authority for the SovCit movement, adherents to its legal theories generally believe they are sovereign only unto themselves. Unless they consent, no government can exercise jurisdiction over them. As we know, that is what they believe. The FBI goes further, describing SovCits as, well, you guys already know all of that. Let's see. Collins did not respond to inquiries seeking clarification on whether he considers himself a SovCit or not. It's obvious. It's very obvious. Clearly with the wording that is being used in the lawsuit alone. In a response to the lawsuit, lawyers for San Diego County said the argument Collins made in his complaint were nearly impossible to decipher. After the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of California dismissed his lawsuit, Collins appealed to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which ultimately concluded that his case was frivolous. Kalinowski, who has studied the SovCit movement, said anyone that would self-ascribe to that ideology likely lacks a very basic understanding of the Constitution and the framework of the government and how law works. Number one of a major concern with all of these individuals, including the QAnon supporters who are running for office. When you are subscribing to an ideology that is so far off to the left of what real law actually states, you do have to be concerned with the fact that they're not, the Constitution plays a huge part in actual law. So if they don't understand the Constitution and they don't understand the framework of the government or how the law works, we have a huge problem with having them represent. It's always concerning when a candidate or anyone in government does not have a strong grasp of the actual powers under the Constitution. I want to show you a couple of other things in this article before I close off here. Collins made a number of noteworthy statements about his finances in his court filings related to the child support dispute. For instance, in his initial filing, he attached documents claiming that he transferred a combined $800.2 billion worth of assets to his private trust, Royal Family of Collins. Among the assets Collins claimed to have transferred to his trust was his Social Security number, birth certificate, his own self, and his presidential campaign, each of which he asserted as being worth $100 billion each. His trust also contains a lengthy schedule of fees, which includes charges of $15 million for DNA or bodily fluids, with an additional extraction charge of $100 million for the forced giving of fluid samples. Sorry, guys. I'm having a hard time with that one. Collins swore under penalty of perjury in April of 2018 court filing that he couldn't afford the fees necessary to appeal his case to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. So now he's running for office, but with $800,000 almost. But at the time, in just April of 2018, he wanted the taxpayers to actually pay for the court filing. Collins told the court he was earning $6,861 a month in the Navy until his retirement in October of 2017. By the following April, Collins was surviving on just $675 a month in veteran affairs disability benefits and had just $22 in his checking account, he told the court. But Collins wasn't paying his court-ordered child support even when he had a steady military salary. Court documents show his initial lawsuit includes a statement showing that he owed $14,000 in back child support the month he retired from the Navy. The woman who's owed monthly child support from Collins told the DCNF that Collins made only 2 child support payments in 2018 and just 1 in all of 2019. She asked to stay anonymous for the story to keep her child out of the spotlight. Collins confirmed in an email to the DCNF that he wasn't paying child support because he says he did not father the child. The child is not mine, which is why I'm not paying it. I've taken multiple DNA tests when the issue arose years ago, Collins said. This is a case that I am still fighting, the congressional candidate added. The courts violated my right to due process by not notifying me of the court date to close the matter after I was supposed to had won the case. They freaking did that purpose to default me, which is why I filed the case or the suit in the first place. I would ask that you not publicize that because I'm still fighting the case with the crooked court system till this date, and I don't want to hamper my chances of having this thing drawn out any longer than it has to be, Collins told the DCNF. Now listen to that statement. I would ask that you not publicize that because I'm still fighting the case with the crooked court system. So, not understanding anything having to do with the Constitution or the framework of the government, but also believes that the court system is inherently crooked. And this is who has apparently received, through raising $761,000 in order to launch his congressional bid against Maxine Waters. So while we may not all agree with Maxine Waters, let's take a real hard look at what's going on here with Collins and the fact that he has backing to the tune of $761,000 out of nowhere. Records once again show that $112,000 of which has gone to pay for food and travel in the final 6 months of 2019, and another $148,000 has been dispersed to a mysterious company called Pure Strategy Solutions for Digital and Strategic Consulting Services. Any of you that would like to take a look at that company in California, please do so and let me know what you find out. Wonder Woman, this may be a very good thing for you to take a look at here if you would like to help do some research like we've discussed in the past. I would love to dig into Pure Strategy Solutions for Digital and Strategic Consulting Services, because I bet that it's going to lead straight back to Collins. To be sure, there's no indication that Collins has violated campaign finance laws in his campaign's travel and food disbursement and transactions with Pure Strategy Solutions. Collins has been pictured across the country rubbing elbows with major Trump world figures such as Donald Trump Jr. and former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani. Here we go. So here is a tweet by Joe Collins III with clearly Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump Jr. and even more figures here. All right, so I'm sure you guys can see why I'm concerned about this, right? I mean, I'm sure that you can tell that there is something wrong with someone who does not believe in what we think America should stand for, even if it falls short from time to time. But we also have an endorsement happening from the president's son, from the California GOP office, from what appears to be Rudy Giuliani, which is closely related to the president also in terms of, people that the president deals with. Now, this is not anything having to do with a political stance on this, you guys. I am an independent, as most of you know. And I definitely kind of flow straight down the middle there. So this isn't about a political thing. This is a scary scenario for those of us who follow these individuals and know how, well, I'll just say we know how they roll. Do we want any state to be represented by a party that has a history like this, that clearly still believes that virtually they're virtually still very anti-government? I just think that it's something that everyone needs to be aware of, because in the video that I put up last night that I wasn't really finished with, I haven't made all the edits on yet, but a lot of you ended up seeing it, over 200 of you. For those that saw that video with regards to Q, there's also 2 people in there that are running for seats in 2020. Full on believing that there is some kind of crazy conspiracy theory that is real, and they're running on the basis of that. Not fact, but actual just willy-nilly belief. It's scary. It's very scary. It's also extremely concerning to me that the current administration would potentially put themselves in a position to be seen as a part of these groups, or be with people that view the very government that way. Very concerning. And I think people need to be aware of this. I know I'm going to probably really get hit hard by making these statements, but someone has to. Thomas, to answer your question, what is the Q thing? Okay, so that would take me probably an hour to fully explain. But what I can tell you is that I will give you a link that you can go to that will provide you with just basic information so that you can quickly see basically what it's about. It is a large conspiracy theory, basically. So there is the link. That's just a Wikipedia page that gives you very basics on what Q actually is. Okay, yes, Wonder Woman. I will forward you the information on this. If you want to do some research on that company, that would be great. I would like to be able to confirm or deny whether or not there is an issue with that particular company and this candidate. I think it's really dangerous that people are not doing the research that was once done, or at least factual research that was once done on candidates. It's too easy to sit and watch commercials, which largely are skewed. They are biased, and they should be, because it is their own campaign putting these advertisements up and paying for them with your money, taxpayer money, donations that come from us. Also, let me just say this, because again, Virgo Tried is not a political channel. This has absolutely nothing to do with attempting to try to, in any way, shape, or form, damage either party. Quite frankly, I don't really care for either one, but it is what we have to deal with, and I can see positives and negatives in both. So I'm very, excuse me, little man, I'm very balanced when it comes to that. Okay. But I do want to make sure that you understand that the biggest issue that we have is not following what's going on both sides. You cannot be properly informed if you are not following what both sides are saying. I don't care what side you want to side with, or whether you think one of them is just downright evil, which is really sad to me, because that is just kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face as far as I'm concerned. But regardless, if you're not following both, you don't belong in the argument. If you follow both, you will be at least as informed as possible. So I'm going to say that and leave the political end of this alone, because I do not like to discuss politics. But in this case, there's absolutely no way for me to avoid it. I needed to make sure that you guys knew about this particular scenario, which is quite concerning, in my opinion, indeed. All right, so the link will be in the description for all of you that would like to actually read the entire, or listen, rather, which is very nice. Listen to the entire article. It's quite lengthy. It takes about 13 minutes in total to listen to, but I think it's important because this group of individuals are ones that we need to just watch closely. There are, as I said, several more that we need to pay attention to, two that are running from the QAnon group, and there are many more that are running in several states, both on the West and East Coast, that have proven themselves to be part of the same ideology. I'll be putting up additional videos and doing other live streams about those individuals as time goes on. All right, so let's see. The other thing that I want to mention to you guys before we go on to question and answers and just plain talking is this. Let me make sure you guys can see it. Nope. I'm sooner or later, I'm gonna get this, you guys. I am. All right. For those of you that would like to read it and get a great big laugh out of it, this is the IRS's new 2019 Dirty Dozen. This is the Dirty Dozen that this time around, and for the first time ever, has a heading of IRS YouTube videos. Why? Because people that run around talking about filing 1099 OIDs like Miss April Lejeune and Moneyboy Films and, Stop the Pirates and all of these different people that try to sell their packages and make claims to the scams that you can supposedly get out of paying your taxes and that there's no law that says you have to pay taxes. Well, finally, the IRS has actually had to address this situation. So before you go in to read the actual Dirty Dozen, it specifically states to not watch the YouTube videos that are making these claims, or if you do, please don't believe them because you're going to find yourself in a whole bunch of trouble. So I thought that was very amusing, and thank you to JoDonHo for providing that link to us so that we could take a look at it and laugh. It's pretty close to the previous years with regards to making frivolous arguments, but it definitely points out that it's the YouTube videos that are causing the majority of the problems with people getting into trouble. All right, so that was pretty much what I wanted to go over today with you guys. So we have a few minutes left. We're only in by about 41 minutes here. So everybody tell me how you're doing. Do you have any questions? Is there anything you want to bring up today, talk about? We have so much going on between the Sharon Tracy Gale and DeCorey Pitts sentencing and trial that are going to be coming up here soon. We have the rise of the Moors and their FBI investigation that's happening. We have a bunch of brand new scams that have popped up on social media by the SovCits groups that I haven't even had a chance to talk about. Hello, Van. So yes, Wonder Woman, I will be posting the recording of this live stream. From this point forward, it will be up. And yes, all of the links will be included in the description of the articles that we've discussed today. Hello, T. Baker. Okay, so let me see. No, yes, there is something else we need to discuss, and that is next week's live stream. So next week's live stream is on the 28th of February, I believe. I think it's the 28th. Isn't it the 28th, you guys? I say 28th. Okay. We're going to be, okay, hold on one second. Wonder Woman, yes, I have actually thought about that. But I don't think she actually needs to be educated on this. The word has it out that she is in the process of dealing with them through the court system right now. So I think what I'm going to do is wait for an outcome on that, because we'll definitely be hearing about it, and then try to contact her in order to get an interview. She's a very, very busy young woman, and I'm sure she's under a great deal of stress right now. After all, she has squatters in a building that she is trying to keep the reputation up for her other tenants. So I hate to bother her during this time frame when it's so stressful. I think it's probably better if I approach her at a time when all of this is behind her. So, okay, so let's talk about the 28th. The live stream for the 28th. This all came about just very, just an idea that I had. So, for those of you that don't know, there's going to be a giveaway on next Friday's live stream. The giveaway will be done at the end of the actual stream. What's going to happen is everybody that's actually there for the live stream and is posting in the comment, or not the comment section, but the messaging board here, I will be taking the names down of the people that have attended. I'm going to be placing them in a vase, which I will then shake up and choose a name at the end of the live stream. The person whose name I choose will receive a $25 Olive Garden gift card. And the reason that we're doing that is because I received a $25 gift card from someone that I don't know very well. I cannot eat at Olive Garden. I am unable to medically handle certain things like MSG and just certain types of foods. So it does me absolutely no good. So I figured I'd pass it on to someone who could enjoy it. And if it's something that you guys actually enjoy doing, then I will try to do one of those giveaways once every 3 months. Probably the next time around, it won't be a food card. It'll probably just be a Visa gift card or maybe an Amazon card for you guys to just, enjoy and purchase whatever you want with it. But this time around, it's a $25 Olive Garden gift card. I'll be sending it first class mail to whomever the actual winner is. Now, for those of you that do not live in the United States, I don't know if you've got Olive Garden in the UK. Somebody tell me if you've got Olive Garden in the UK. If you don't, I apologize. But this is a card that I already have in possession. I'm already in possession of. So this will be the thing that we use this week. But I will, at least I will know if I can forward it to somebody in the UK, because I know some of you are not here in the States. Many of you are. So tell me if you guys know if you have Olive Garden restaurant in the United States. I mean, in the United States, in the UK. You are funny, Liz. No, I don't think so. I don't think we'll be donating it to Sharon's commissary account. Nah, don't like that idea. Liz. Liz is our on-site comedian for Friday live streams, and also in the comment section. I love Liz. She always makes me laugh and puts a smile on my face, which is so desperately needed in the position I'm in. That's very true, Gary. Yes, there's all these different locations that you can use it, but I don't know whether or not any of those locations are actually in the UK. Listen to little man. You know what? T Baker, that would be wonderful if actually, can you send me an email on that? Anybody who wants to donate anything that can be a giveaway, that would be wonderful also. If you've got, I'm speaking of gift cards, things that are, I'm not talking about, pieces of art or anything. But anybody who has something that they're not using or whatever and wants to give it away, that would be awesome to help the channel out and just to make things a little bit more fun. Thank you so much, T. Baker. Really appreciate that. Sock, I'm telling you, hey, how mad at your wife can you possibly be by her cheating on you with your straw man? Have you told her that you're cheating on her with a sock? I mean, come on, man. Let's be real here. Oh, by the way, I forgot to put up on my video that you guys might have seen the $5 Indian thumbnail, and that is something that Sock did for me, and I forgot to put it. Bad Virgo. I forgot to put it in the description to thank Sock for that thumbnail. It was brilliant. Thank you so much. Okay, so there's no Olive Garden in the UK, Van says. Now, there are other places that it can be redeemed at, so we will go over those places next Friday. For those of you that are part of the UK, we will figure out another way to do it from this point forward after next Friday's giveaway. Also, if you know somebody in the States and you want to, and you win and you are in the UK, you can always send it to someone that's a friend or family member in the States. Let's see. Let's go over some comments here, see if anybody actually has any questions or concerns or suggestions. Sock cheating on his wife with a Victoria's Secret stocking. Sock says it's all good. I'm going to tell my professor my straw man ate my work. That's a good idea. Let's see if they buy that one. Hello. Oh, is it Ogre? Ogre 214? How you doing? I had a crazy straw in 1960. We won't talk about our past like that, Mark. Now, come on, don't be bringing that here. That means people have to share those kind of things. Virgo has a good reputation, and we don't want to go there. Okay, Ian, give it to charity in U.S. I always drop my U.S. change in the charity boxes at the airport, okay? Hi, Diane. How are you, hun? Diane always leaves me the absolute sweetest and most supportive comments in my comment section. And there have been days, you guys, I know you all think that Virgo's pretty strong, and I am most of the time, but there are days, especially days that I don't actually medically feel well, that I will sit and read some of these comments, and I'm just like, thank God I have people like Diane in the comment section, because these crazy comments that you guys get to see, they're moderate compared to some of the worst ones, and it can really, really bring you down. Do they make CPAP masks for puppies? You know what? I don't think they do, Wonder Woman, but they sure the heck need to, it seems like. Okay, I'm good. Thank you, Virgo. Hope you are too. Yes, I'm doing fine this morning, except for that I need more coffee. Anybody want to support on the Patreon page, support for coffee, because I am running very, very low. Okay, Janet, thank you so much for showing up. Hope you stay warm there in Atlanta. You said it's cold. So have a wonderful weekend. No, really, Diane, I mean it. You really brighten my day. Almost every time you comment, it's very supportive, and I really appreciate it. Oh, Wonder Woman says, I feel a day without Virgo's videos is, where to go? There we go. Is a day without sunshine. That's so sweet. Mark, we would all like to run away from life. Yes, we sure the heck would sometimes like to run away from life, especially when I wake up to an email with an article that says that there's a SovCit that's running for Congress. That's just terrifying to me. Hi, Beverly. Beverly Proudfoot. She says, Virgo, praying for your good health every day. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, I'm so glad to hear you got a good report. Listen, you take care of yourself, Beverly, okay? If you guys ever, let me show you something. Wonder Woman can attest to this. Wonder Woman, you tell them this, because I don't want anybody to feel concerned or scared to do this. I am going to put up, because I know a lot of people have trouble locating it. Stop, little man. Pushing my hand. Okay, at the bottom of your screen, at the bottom of the screen in the scroll, you're going to see my email address. Now, YouTube doesn't allow me to post my email address any longer, except for in my About section. I can't put it in the comments for you guys without disguising it as something else. I understand why they've done that, but it makes it very difficult. And a lot of times when I try to tell you guys what my email address is, you don't actually understand, and so I never get the email. If anybody ever needs to talk, check in, ask a question, need advice on something that I might possibly be able to help with, you're always welcome to email me, virgotriad@protonmail.com. It's scrolling across the bottom of your screen right now. Let's see. Since they blocked the rise of the Moors' ability to live stream, why do you think they haven't killed their whole account? I think that they are trying to err on the side of caution, Wonder Woman, when it comes to, I would say, freedom of speech to some extent. I think that they are watching them very closely. People have flagged their videos and they're listening to what commenters are saying. So they've taken away their ability to live stream so that this way they can catch it if there's something offhanded and perhaps boot them that way. But they do generally try to stick by their 3 strikes, you're out regulation, according to what I have found anyway. It has to be really, really severely extreme for them to just remove the channel altogether. And I do agree that this is extreme to us because we understand what's going on. But whoever it is that's moderating the YouTube channel may not fully understand what's going on. And as a result, they're relying on what they're being told by those that are flagging them. So I would imagine it's going to be, like I said, the 3 strike, you're out scenario. Let's see. Why is Fox News always in my recommends? Okay, well, that I can't really help you with. The algorithm dictates what we do and don't see as advertisements or as recommended videos. And I understand how frustrating that can be. Because there was actually not too long ago, the MSM ad, which is the that solution, or MMS rather, I'm sorry, not MSM. The MMS solution ad that was running in front of my videos, which I have I have absolutely no tolerance for that kind of health BS that's out there. That's literally drinking bleach. And I've spoken out in videos about it before. I've posted Jeff Holiday's videos about it to my subscribers, and they were actually running those ads, but I have no control over that. And I don't think we have much control over recommends either. They're trying to take from, the algorithm takes from the subjects that you are watching. So that might give you a clue. But it really sucks, I know, when you keep getting recommends that don't make any sense. Y'all, listen to this. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. He's worse than a human. Okay, so it's rather embarrassing because people that don't know me as well as you guys do come on and watch my live stream and they're like, who's snoring in the background? You living in your mama's basement? You know? No, it's just my boxer. Okay. Oh, they do have CPAP for dogs now. Okay. They tried on me when I was in the hospital. People were too big for my face. Oh my goodness, that's a priceless comment there. That's cute. Okay. Little Rascal says, is there a way to refresh the algorithm? Not from us. That is a YouTube thing, and my understanding is that algorithm's a little out of control right now. I don't fully understand exactly the way it works. I'm learning more with dealing with this whole search engine thing with my website that we're building. But according to a lot of people that have done reports on the YouTube algorithm, it's kind of doing its own thing. And I think that's why they're making certain provisions for creators to kind of address the situation of all of these demonetized videos that are occurring for absolutely no reason. I mean, you guys know that I don't do a lot of, cursing in my videos. I don't address subjects that would be considered ugly in terms of, things that are really out there that should be demonetized. That people would find not advertisement friendly, and they're trying to make provisions for us creators to kind of assist us with not running into so much demonetizing. My YouTube revenue has gone from, which was always virtually nothing, but it's been dumped by about 57% from what it was in 2018 because of the algorithm growing and grabbing words that it doesn't mean you're saying something bad or that you're advocating for it just because you're using that word. That's why a lot of times you hear me say SovCit rather than the full word, because if you say that word in your live stream, done. It absolutely is going to demonetize you, not just in live streams, but in regular videos too. Let's see. Reported them for... Okay, Team Baker. Okay, Mark says that... no, that's not Little Man, though. The Komodo dragon that you're talking about, Mark, is Maisie. And the reason that Maisie sounds like a lion, you guys, is because Maisie is the size of a lion. You haven't seen her in a while. She's grown by at least 3 times the amount that you guys saw in the last picture. She is an Italian Mastiff. Some other people might understand that to be a Cane Corso, which is a very, very, very large breed dog. And when she growls or when she speaks, because she talks a lot, she tells everybody how she feels all the time, especially if she's hungry, wants attention, or just plain is wanting to go out and play. Maisie's very verbal, and she sounds like a lion. She has a very, very deep voice. Unbelievable. I'm so sorry, you guys, but I can't shut him up no matter what I do. Okay, so how much did that make you owe to YouTube? Wait, I don't understand your question. So how much did that make you owe to YouTube? And I know you're kidding, but I don't know what. Oh, I see. Like if I actually went in the red because of it. No, I just lost 57% of which was not very much anyway. Like I said, what I get in ad revenue may take care of might take care of the toner cartridges that I use in order to research. It's very little, but they took 57% of that through all the demonetizing. It's pretty rugged right now on YouTube. If I wasn't getting the help that I'm getting on my Patreon account from you guys, I would not be able to even come close to trying to afford any medication, let alone this new medication that's popped up for my anemia. Yes, Sock says it sounds like Zool, but fortunately, Maisie is such a sweet girl, she doesn't act like Zool. Well, unless she feels mama's threatened. Maisie is very, very overprotective, and keep in mind, she's not even 6 months old yet. So, she's one of those that, you probably wouldn't want to mess with too much, but she's a very sweet girl to those that she knows, and even to new people, as long as she knows you're okay. Wasn't the dog on Turner and Hood? No, he was what's called a Bordeaux. And he is also extremely large, but Maisie's actually taller than that. So think a combination of a American Mastiff mixed with a very tall Great Dane. How does she feel about Italian jokes? I don't know. We haven't tried one on her yet. Maisie like chicken parmesan. Actually, she absolutely loves chicken. She eats raw. So she has chicken almost every day. I don't know about the Parmigiana, but she likes cheese, so it sounds like it might work. You were talking about how your original revenue was practically nil, so my joke was, yes, I got it after I thought about it for a second. I'm telling you guys, the problem is coffee here. It's coffee. I need coffee. Yes, she's a very, very big dog. One of the biggest, as a matter of fact, in the world in terms of her breed. They are very large. My big dog is scary but sweet too. Yep, Diane. And you know what? With what I do here online and the amount of threats that I get on a regular basis, between Morgana and Maisie, I feel very safe. Yeah, they are extremely good guard dogs, Mark. Okay. All right, you guys, we're right at an hour at this point, and I get caught up in, I love to talk to you guys. This has been an amazing thing to get started here on this channel for me. I'm so glad we have it available now, but I am going to have to close this down because, it's just getting to the time where I need to put up the V3 video, and I've got a bunch of other stuff that has to be done today. Set up a coffee IV for Virgo. Yes, please. Yes, please. I've been poked and prodded already this week too many times with actual IV fluids. I would like to have a good one this time. How about that? A coffee IV would be perfect. So anyhow, what I'm going to do is let you guys go. Please be expecting that over the next day, you will be receiving a notification for the V3. That's the funny end of the week stuff where I share the funny news stories that are real, but they're just hilarious. Wonder Woman, I agree. I love these live streams. The only thing that would be better would be for all of us to be able to get on a conference call and actually talk to one another. And I wish I could find a service that would allow us to do that. But unfortunately, the only service I've been able to find up to this point is one that allows 10 people on at once. And even in the case of Blog Talk Radio, one of the reasons I didn't move forward with that was just because of the fact that they weren't going to allow me enough of call-in time, even at the highest pro package, for it to be worth what it was going to cost in order to do. So I realize I can only handle just so many call-ins at once, but I would love for everybody to be able to talk a little bit more. So this is good for now. We'll keep moving forward and seeing what comes out that we can use in the future. Let's see. Is there anybody else that... Oh, did you like this one, Pete? Yeah, I was worried about this one. I didn't want it to bring anybody down. The scenario with the all of the running for office and everything. It's such a concerning scenario, but in the political climate of it being a presidential election year, in addition, it's even more pressing than ever before. Yeah, Baker, I'll check Google Hangout. I'm not sure how many people at once can be on Google Hangout, but we're going to figure it out. And we may even actually, upon Degeneration Nation's suggestion, with his Discord, maybe we might even look at doing something like that. But right now, I know I keep saying it, and I know that it sounds like I'm making excuses, but the truth is we're putting in everything we possibly can to make this website something that is very special. It's taking us longer than we anticipated. At first, it was a matter of money. Then the money was received and we were able to do it. And now it's just a matter of the amount of information that's going into the search engine. That information has to be put in largely by me because I'm the one with the information in my head. It's not written down anywhere. It's all in my head. So that's something that is taking longer than what I would like, but it is happening. And so once that's up, there's all kinds of crazy things we can do. So I'll be looking into some more ways that we can stay in better touch. I want to make sure everybody has a great weekend, and I want to tell everybody that I love you so much. Thank you for all your support. For anybody that wants to help with the medication issue that I know you all already know about with me, please take a look at my Patreon account. You can give there a small amount, a large amount, whatever you want to, just once. It doesn't have to be every single month. Speaking of that, just so you guys know, that will be the end of the month that I put up the new mini doc on Patreon also. And let's see, is there anything else? Oh, let me put that back up for you. Hold on. There we go. There's the Patreon account in case you want to use it. Do not feel obligated. But for those of you that were asking with regards to helping on the Procrit medication, that is where you would take a look. All right, everybody, go see yourself some of the videos you're talking about looking at. Everybody have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.